I am Geoffrey, and this is World of Tanks. And today I have discovered a very interesting metric. I'm going to go over it. It might have been there already. I've just seen it in Tomato GG. It's here in the middle. They rank all the tanks, and I've ranked them according to the win rate differential. What that means is the difference of wins versus losses in this tank for the entire server. So this is the EU server, the last 30 days, so the month of March 2025. And we see the top performing tanks, specifically the top 20 performing tanks is what I have selected here. And we'll start from tier 5 and we'll move over to tier 10. So tier 5 then, the top performing tank you see here is the T-50, the Russian light tank. This is definitely an outlier, as you will realize. But in any case, this is the top performing tank at tier 5 for some reason that you may know and I don't. But what I want to do is then go over all the tanks, see how many belong to each class out of the top 20. There should be 4 per class because there are 5 classes. Yeah? So if the classes were balanced, there should be 4 heavies, 4 mediums, 4 lights, 4 tank destroyers, 4 SPGs. What is the reality? That's my question. So, start with heavies. 1, the KV-222T, which is a really weird one. I don't know, some test version, very few people have it. But in any case, so 1, another KV-220, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There should have been 4, there are 8 heavies. Okay, 8 heavies in the top 20. How many mediums? Panzer 5-4, that's not quite a medium, it's more like a heavy. Never mind. 1, another version of Panzer 5-4, that's not really medium, it's a heavy, but never mind. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 mediums. There should be 4, but 8, so 16 between them, heavies and mediums, out of which mediums 2 are OP, heavily armored. And what about, so we have 4 spots left for the other 3 classes, yeah, do you realize? There are 3 classes left, but only 4 tanks left in the top 20. Light tanks, there's 1, 2, there's the T-50 and the MX-CLC BIS. So, 3, and the BT-42, the Czech. Okay, so the 2 classes left, tank destroyers and SPGs, between them they have to share 1 remaining tank, which does not happen to be a Tech 3 tank, it's the Leaf Blower. No tank destroyers in tier 5 in the top 20. If you saw some tank destroyers in the game in the Tech 3, you haven't seen very well. You need to check your eyesight. Huh? Or otherwise, you've been fooled by wargaming. And you've been fooled in March, but April Fool's Day is today, the 1st of April. So that's tier 5. Let's move on to tier 6. So tier 6, the top 20 top performing tanks, well, there's metric. Starting with heavy tanks, so M6 in position 2. Church of Gloriana, a totally new one, is already in position 4. Okay, it's the premium, it was released like 2 days ago. Yesterday or something. Is this real? Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 of the top 20 top performing, best performing tanks at tier 6 are heavies. Mediums, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So about a third. Still overrepresented. Lights, we have the AMD 178B wheel vehicle. Interesting. The only light. That's an underrepresented class. And that has once again left us with 4 places for the other 2 remaining classes. So have the 88, which is an assault gun corridor fight tank destroyer, not really tank destroyer, an assault gun, like a heavy tank without a turret, at the top. So we have 1 tank destroyer, we have the T-78. Tank destroyer is a proper tank destroyer. And that's it. That's it. 2 tank destroyers, one of which is a corridor fight assault gun. And the T-78 is the only sniper we've seen so far. This is the only sniper in those 2 tiers. Okay. And we have 2 SPGs, interestingly enough. We have the MX-13F3, which I think is overall, as you will see in all these lists, is the top performing SPG at the moment. It used to be the M44, but it was nerfed a couple of years ago. So now it's the MX-13F3, which is also my favorite SPG. And then the Su-8 near the bottom, the Russian one. Okay, so that was tier 6. Let's hope things improve in tier 7. Let's move on to tier 7. So this is tier 7. The win rate differentials have somewhat decreased, but they're plus 4% at the top. The Cheeto SB, this has been nerfed, by the way. It's outperforming the premium tanks, so it's been nerfed. It's been nerfed quite heavily. Okay, I'm not saying it's undeserved, but I'm just saying how it is. So we have how many heavy tanks here? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 out of 20 tier 7 top performing tanks are heavy tanks. Which ones are being nerfed of these? I mean, everything. Let me think. I think none. The maps changed so to favor tanks that are underrepresented. Snipers, we've seen only 1. In 40 tanks so far, we've seen 1 sniper. Don't think so. I mean, the newest airfield map has a big cave in the middle where everyone can go so they don't get shot by snipers. I don't think that I see any buffs in sniper tanks. I don't see any changes in the maps that are going to favor sniper tanks. And the best performing SPGs already we've seen are very heavily armored ones, like the AT-8 at tier 6, the Cheeto SB tier 7. We also have the E25, surprisingly. Well, that's not very heavily armored. But we have the SMV, the Italian one, at about position 10 or so. That's heavily armored and turreted, so it can play as a heavy tank in a corridor fight. So 2 corridor fight ones and 1 stealthy ambushing tank destroyer, the E25. No snipers. Okay, 11 heavy tanks. So 3 tank destroyers. How many mediums? 1, 2, 2 mediums. Right, so mediums are underrepresented. Light tanks will have 1, 2, 3 light tanks, including this weird one, the Alpha Panther at the top. And that leaves a spot for an SPG, the Lorraine 155-50. you want to play an SPG at tier 7, this is your best bet. Okay, I think the picture is clear. 11 out of 20 being heavy tanks, and of the rest, the majority remaining, like the 2 of the 3 SPGs. And of the mediums, the VK30, I don't know, but the 2 of the 3 SPGs being also quarter-fight ones. The picture is clear, but let's move on to tier 8. Maybe things will improve as we advance up the tiers. Okay, tier 8. All premium tanks. Okay, let's see which tanks Wargaming wants to promote and what type of gameplay Wargaming wants to promote. Let's see. Of these top performing tier 8 tanks, all of which are premiums, how many are heavy tanks? Let's start. We have position 2, have the BZ-176, so that's the best performing one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 out of 20 are heavy tanks. In fact, if I were to exclude this medium here, which is a weird one, this ST66 at the top, if I were to exclude that and go one notch down, it would have been 16, somewhere 16 out of 20 top performing tanks at tier 8. All of them premiums. 16 out of 20 are heavy tanks. Of the ones that are not heavy tanks, we have the Grom, an SPG, and this weird one, I'm not counting it, at the top. We have one medium, the Chimera, heavily armored. We have the XM57, which is a turreted heavy tank destroyer assault gun, which plays on heavy in corridor fights. Well, the Grom is an exception. So two tank destroyers, one light tank EBR wheel vehicle, and one medium somewhere. Yeah, the Chimera was heavily armored. So corridor fight tanks, except for the EBR. Basically, corridor fights, whoever wins a corridor fight goes and kills everybody, and the EBR spots them. Or kills them, go and kills whatever, the SPGs. So that's how it works, tier 8. That explains why battles don't last more than 6 minutes. At least my week has been so far that way. I had one battle in which I died before 7 minutes, and the other ones I had basically either finished or I had died by 6 minutes because I don't play heavy tanks. Okay. And tier 9, we have hopes that maybe things will improve eventually. Let's see. So out of tier 9 tanks, how many are heavies? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. How? Again, Wargaming. I mean, this isn't just a question of heavies. Yeah? I mean, this is quite clear. This is not just that there are heavies. The maps are made so that the other classes are worthless. And I'm not going to go into this. I mean, the top tank destroyers, T-95, corridor fighting, breakthrough, assault gun, tortoise, position 4, same. They're not being nerfed, by the way. Yeah. What's being nerfed is the Hori 1, the Japanese one, was in position 10, or whatever. And let's just go straight to tier 10, because this is kind of April Fool's joke for the previous year by Wargaming. Definitely the previous month. And here is tier 10. Top performing, let's see how many heavies. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Not as many. Fine. How many mediums? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, how many dinosaurs? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Much better. Always the Minotaur has a turret and is very heavily armored, so it plays like a heavy tank. T110E3 is heavily armored, has a turret, plays like a heavy tank. These are perfect for corridor fights because they have a slowly moving turret. So if you're in a corridor fight, that is not a handicap. So they perform well. And then the object 268.4 in position 10 or 11 is being buffed. But the Hori 3 in position 19 is being nerfed, which means that Wargaming don't look at their own stats when they buff or nerf their tanks. And in fact, the Hori 3 has a negative win rate differential, but it's being nerfed. Makes perfect sense. And pretty much the top 10 or so, they're all corridor fighting tanks. Apart from SPGs, actually, poor. 2 very well performing SPGs in the top 10. That's very good. So if you want to play an SPG, play tier 10. I don't have any tier 10 SPGs. Maybe I should get some. Okay, so it's April Fool's Day, but this is about the month of March. And the joke is on us from Wargaming. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening.